I'm Lital Marom. I'm an engineer by trade and an entrepreneur. I run two organizations, Unfold, an innovation company that helps organizations redesign their business for growth and for scale, leveraging emerging technologies, new business models, essentially all the tools that we now have as part of the digital economy that can allow you to grow and scale your business, unlocking the potential of your business. The other company is the Academy of Tomorrow, where we help managers get the skill sets and mindsets that they need today to be successful in the world of tomorrow, unlocking the human potential of your business. And in my talks, both virtually and in person, I draw from these experiences, these insights that I have running these two companies, talking about everything from innovation, digital transformation, the future of work, how do you build high-performing teams in a hybrid world, and ultimately having a holistic approach to innovation, helping you disrupt your business and set your people for success. Well, before the pandemic, we already saw enormous amount of innovation. We saw all these unicorns, disrupting every single business segment, generating revenue in a pace that we've never seen before. And then we saw these legacy brands that, although they had all these legacy empires, going bankrupt, like BlackBerry, Nokia, Toys R Us, many, many more that we're all familiar with. Why did they all go bankrupt? Because they couldn't keep up with change, with innovation, with technology, with everything that was fast changing and disrupting our world. And then COVID happened, and we saw again many companies that were doing really well, but when COVID happened, they went bankrupt. Why? Because they only, again, focused on the now, on operational excellence, without having any investment in the future of their business, without keeping up with advancements, with technology. So I often tell businesses, the key is to operate on two verticals. You want to obviously invest in operational excellence and things that are going really well right now, but will eventually die. And at the same time, you want to have a plan for the future. You want to invest in your future. Just like all these winners of the pandemic. When COVID happened, they already had a plan. They weren't caught off guard. So some of them even quadrupled their revenue during these very difficult times. And I often also, when I talk to leaders, I say, you should invest at least 50 to 60% of your time in the future of your business, so that you are ready, so that you could always reimagine your future and thrive. We live in a world of constant change, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. Things are constantly changing and constantly advancing. Now, during the first year of the pandemic, and even the second year, we all talked about resiliency. Resiliency means responding well to a crisis. But now, as we move into the third year of the pandemic, we need much more than that. We need not to just bounce back, but to bounce forward into an emerging world that is unfolding. So we need not just resiliency, we need adaptability. I think that adaptability is the key to your future. Adaptability means that you are prepared even before anything happens because you know how to learn, and then you consciously apply that learner's mind into action. And it's a meta skill, adaptability, because it encompasses many things like learning agility, like emotional flexibility and openness, so that you can stay calm under pressure and that use curiosity as a driving force for change. Putting learning at the heart of your organization and cultivating a learning culture is probably the most important thing to do today in a world that's constantly changing, in a world where technology is constantly advancing, and where every company is a technology company. So every company today is a technology company. And what I mean with cultivating a learning culture, I mean by collecting data and then knowing how to create real insight and real value from that data. It's about learning about your customers' changing needs, behaviors, and expectations that are constantly changing and will continue to change even in a post-pandemic world. It's about learning how to not just automate work, but how to reimagine new work, new value that's better for your people, that's better for your organization, and better for our planet. It's constantly learning how to surprise and delight your customers, and ultimately how to improve your customers' lives. Everything is constantly changing and will continue to change even in a post-pandemic world. Our customers' expectations, behaviors, and needs changed and will continue to change. And today, it's not, just enough to deliver your product or your service in a digital and an instant way. You need to do much more than that. You need to surprise and delight your customers. You need to constantly ask yourself, how can I improve my customers' lives? How do I use the data that I have about my customers to give them something that's personal, that's relevant, that's actually going to add value to their life? That's how you expand your revenue, grow your revenue, reach new markets, and that's how you also ultimately build trust and long-term relationships with your customers. Always, how can I improve my customers' lives? Being customer obsessed. So at Unfold, we work with a lot of companies from the financial industry, whether it's banks, wealth management, or insurance companies, to help them disrupt and reimagine their business. And I'd say that probably one of the biggest underinvestments in that industry is investing in business model innovation. Business model innovation is really understanding that the blueprint of business has changed. It's not just about talking about data, leveraging AI, patching blockchain, and all these emerging technologies that we talk. It's understanding that the rules of the playground changed, that the way that fintech or a successful startup today build a successful business is different. They use a different operating business, they use a different blueprint, and that's what I call business model innovation. So the way that you create value and the way that you monetize that value, monetize their data, is fundamentally different. And it goes by many names specifically. So it can be digital ecosystems or the platform business model. So that's something that I focus a lot, supporting companies on designing that and building. And I'd say that is probably the most important thing for companies in the financial industry to look at because it's being so heavily disrupted at the moment. McKinsey, for example, is estimating that platforms, digital ecosystems, will reach $60 trillion by 2025, so not that long from now, which will account for 30% of global revenue. So really something to look at that's completely changing our economy today. So we live today in a world where we have access to so many tools, new technologies, new business models that can really set you up for success. Everybody has access to it, but not everyone is using it. And the reason for that and what blocks almost everybody is fear. It's fear from technology. It's fear from the unknown. It's fear from failing, fear even from failing to use these tools and being left behind. So I'd say the biggest message for leaders today, you have everything that you need to succeed, but you need to embrace change. You need to understand that not taking any risk is the riskiest thing that you can do, because then you will be left behind. We've seen this over and over again with legacy companies, even before the pandemic, that were resistant to change and went bankrupt. Then we've seen companies during the pandemic that were really successful, COVID hit, and went bankrupt. Again, all these companies that resist change. So I'd say embracing technology, investing the time to educate yourself, educate your team, create space so people can learn individually and then share their knowledge and insight together, because you grow and learn better together so that you can collaborate, learn from each other, also learn from your failures. Create that learning culture that I talk about, the learning agility that will allow you to grow and win together. So first of all, meeting my audience IRL in real life, which is super exciting. It already started. Now I'm back in Toronto, touring North America. So I get so much energy from it, and I just love connecting with my audience. I launched recently a new keynote about the future of work that's really picking a lot of traction, and I'm excited to bring this to different audiences. Launching two new other keynotes, one about adaptability being the key to your future, as I mentioned before, and also another one about the metaverse, NFT, crypto, all these buzzwords that everyone's confused about, to help shed more light about what does it all mean and how it can help you. Now, every keynote that I launch has a more deep dive version of it as a masterclass, so we're also launching that as part of Unfold in the Academy. So many things are coming, and I'm extremely excited for the rest of 2022 and happy that everything is slowly but surely opening up.